I am now fully convinced that the Omega Men are working for Darkseid somehow, some way, whether they know it or not, and this universe is starting to get connected. Support the comic industry by visiting your local LCS. My name is Doran. This is SEN Comics. We continue our covers of Ultimate Superman number 9. Our story starts off with the Omega Men trying to get 3 kryptonite bullets out of Superman's chest. So somebody's like, we need to use a rib spreader. And then somebody's like, you can forget that because we couldn't spread his ribs with a tow truck. One person feels like they got the bullet. They start pulling. Superman starts screaming. Next thing you know, he pulls out the bullet, but then all the monitors and everything is just broken and in shambles over a yell. So once the guy looks at the bullet, he's like, oh God, those bullets unstable. It can't hold its form. We need to get the other 2 out as soon as possible. He's like, we need to use the ultrasound so we can locate them. She was like, every piece of equipment we got is fried. So Superman's like, I can see it. Hand me the clamps. He reaches in himself and he pulls it out and he's like, all right, good news or bad news? Good news, here goes 1 bullet. Bad news, I can't do that again without passing out. And what does he do? He passes out. So then Primus is like, bring the box. And somebody's like, we can't do that. Like, we barely understand what that box is. And she's like, do it or he dies. So the Primus takes on a face shield and goes, just keep your eyes on me, alright? Omega will provide. Somebody brings in a box and goes, trigger machine, stand back. Superman goes, wait, what is? He turned it on and it's a father box. If that don't scream Darkseid, I don't know what does. So then we cut to Lazarus Corp Processing Center, where we see Ra's al Ghul with his big ass walks in and goes, Agent Lane, you will answer my questions as if your life depended on it. Who am I and why am I here? So then she's like, you're Ra's al Ghul. You're the CEO and founder of Lazarus Corp. You never show your face in public, so you want me to be especially impressed that you came all this way just to tell me that despite my arrest in Kansas, despite my betrayal of Lazarus, I am not being fired. I will not be going to jail, and I will not be disappearing down one of your oil wells, even though those options were definitely carefully considered. I'm also not allowed to quit. You're here to remind me that I work for Lazarus, for you, and there's work to be done. So Ra's al Ghul goes, brilliant. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now let's, and she interrupts him again and goes, to encourage me to get along, you're going to tell me that you literally own my father's legs, and with the flip of a switch, you could turn them off. So then she's like, I almost feel sorry for you, Ra's. May I call you Ra's? He goes, you may call me. She's like, you have no idea how the world has changed, Ra's, because you haven't met him yet. Once Superman is standing in front of you, you'll realize just how small you've become. So he just laughs and goes, Brainiac said that you were really smart and that you had everything down. But you left out one thing. I will not just flip a switch to cripple your father. No. I will go there myself and take him out. So all of a sudden she pulls out a knife, which I'm like, I guess the guards didn't check her well. Someone's going to lose their job. And she goes straight at Raz's neck. So he goes, do it. Open up my throat. I promise you I'll rise again. Can you say the same? So then she backs off and he goes, Lazarus means life, Agent Lane. You hold your father in yours. Remember your love for him as you fulfill your duty and bring me my son. So then we cut to Pakistan where a boom tube opens up so that the John Cena's are like, it's the Omega Men. The terrorists are inside and Primus comes and kicks the bejesus out of one of them and goes deaf to the techno-fascists everywhere. And she's about to swing this sword and take this dude's head off. All of a sudden, Superman comes out of nowhere and he's like, Primus, you saved my life and I am grateful. But if you insist on using deadly force, then you're going to wish that you let me die. So the Primus is like, no problem, Superman. This is your show. Do what you got to do. And he goes throughout the facility, just taking all these John Cena's out. So he gets to these set of tanks. Soul starts to talk to him. He tells all the John Cenas to get out right now. All of a sudden, all these tanks are on fire. And Soul's like, look, dude, like, you need to calm down because you can reopen up your wounds and you don't want that to happen. All of a sudden, big old hand grabs Superman, and then he's being pulled by like these, I guess you could say, John Cena Gundams. Like, yeah, they're trying to pull him apart like taffy. So then Soul's like, your wounds are opening up, but you cannot let the Omega Men use that box on you. You may never go near that box ever again. So then we cut to the Omega Men headquarters before they open up a boom tube to Pakistan, and we see Superman talking to Jimmy Olsen. So Superman's like, what do you know about that box? He's like, just what people tell me. He goes, one guy says it fell from space. Another guy says that we dug it up and it's been on Earth for millions of years. Primus says that it comes from God, even though her version of God is completely different from any version I ever heard of. And then Superman goes, it's called the Father Box. It told me his name when it was removing the last bullet from my chest. So then Jimmy's like, it's alive? What else did it say? And Superman goes, it didn't speak with words, but with fire. I saw a world erupting with flames. So Jimmy goes, another planet? He goes, hold on, are you an alien? I'm asking too many questions, Superman. And Superman goes, I wish you wouldn't have called me that. So Superman's like, the box showed me fire pits the size of oceans and slums that went on forever. But this wasn't no version of some past far off planet. No, this was this world. This is what's coming. So the Jimmy starts talking about Lazarus and how the guy that runs this is a maniac. And Superman's like, is she any better? So Jimmy's like, she's better than the other ones. So then Superman's like, why are you here, Jimmy? And Jimmy explains how he was on the toilet one day and he realized that eventually he's going to have a kid. And that kid was going to walk up to him and be like, Daddy, why is the world like this? And he would have to explain. And the reason why he joined the Omega Man is when he does explain this to his kid, that he at least wants to also say that he tried to do something. And he's like, there is so much craziness in the world. There's the things happening in the Area 41. That's what Wonder Woman's dealing with right now. He also brings up the Olympus Project and the richest man in the world, which is the Joker. That's who Batman's dealing with. So the Primus walks over and goes, shut up, Olsen. You got one last chance to make it above the rank of Alpha. So the Primus lets Superman know all the things that the John Cenas are doing in Pakistan and that they need to go and do something about it. Soul's like, Kyle, don't even think about it. And before Soul can finish the statement, Superman's like, I'm coming with you. So then we cut back to Superman and the John Cena Gundams, and we see that he's pretty much destroyed them. Like, they're done. So then all the other John Cenas are just drawing down on them, and he uses, can we say a solar flare, lava flare, because he uses lava? Like, I don't know what this is. All I know is that he uses a flare and he takes out all the John Cenas that were surrounding him. So they're trying to make their way to the hostages, and once they break through a wall, they see all the hostages have been hanged. And then they're surrounded again by all these John Cenas. But Primus is done playing, and she starts taking them out with the quickness. All of a sudden, Jimmy Olsen is yelling, Primus, Superman, do something. Like, 'cause she's just going off. All of a sudden, there is a boom, and we see Primus, Superman, and some Omega Men's walking through a boom tube, and they're like, what about the wounded? Primus is like, if they can walk, get them some care. If not, let God be with them. So then Primus and Superman finally have a discussion, and she's like, I need you to help me kill Ra's al Ghul and take out Lazarus. Like, you just seen for yourself how bad these people are. And Superman doesn't want anything to do with it. So she goes, look, I don't need you to be a naive little boy, soft as Kansas cottonwood. I need you to be a man of steel. Let's see if that nickname sticks. And he's like, just stop talking. Like, I don't want to talk about this. And she's like, okay, we kill one person to save millions, possibly billions. And all of a sudden, one of the Omega Men goes up and is like, I think we left a man behind. Not think I know we left a man behind. And she goes, what are you talking about? And she goes, Agent Alpha. And we see Jimmy Olsen with a pack on his head. And he's like, excuse me, I have rights. I know because of some kind of convention in Geneva. I want a lawyer, and I prefer a good one if you don't mind. All of a sudden, the bag comes off his head. All you see is Lois Lane, and she is like, I want you to tell me everything about Superman while you still can.